Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my slightly frayed at the edges Porsche Boxster 986, the green flash as we've been calling it. Well, it's not quite so frayed at the edges as it was, is it? I mean, it's looking rather nice now with its new seats, its new freshly polished paint, and it is in fact, for those that have been following the series, going in for its hood to be fitted at the end of July. Now, the guy I found to do this for me, and I thought I'd better get a professional to do it, has already given me some tips about where I went wrong and what I could have done better and all that. So we'll get to that when we get to it later in the month. But for now, I bought a 997 manual shifter up from the Porsche 911 997. Now this is actually a slightly shorter throw than the 986 Boxster shifter, so it'll make it a bit more precise. It's also got a little bit more metalwork in it than plastic, as opposed to on this car, which is a lot more plastic. So it should take the sloppiness out of it and just make it a much more of a direct and firm feeling shift. But have a look at how it performs right now. It's not really very good. So we're going to see if we can fit this on my car. The first step, in fact, is to take out the center console. So let's go and do that. All right. The first part of this job is to get this boot off for our gear stick, and then we're going to lift it off. And these should just unclip. So I'm just going to get my fingers underneath and see if I can unclip them without breaking them. One. Come on, cooperate. Two. And then it just lifts back. And that should enable me to just pull this off, which of course it doesn't. Oh, there we are. Now this was a giant pain in the rear. It was just stuck on solid, and I didn't film it because it was taking me too long, frankly. But what I decided to do was to put one foot on this side of the seat, one foot on this side of the seat, and just give it an almighty heave, and it came off. And that is what it looks like. Pretty straightforward in the end. It just required a bit of brute force and ignorance. Next then is the ghastly, horrible old ashtray that I've got here, which is losing all its coating. We're going to do something about that before the end of the episode, so stay tuned. This will not look like this by the end of the episode. That flicks out, we can pull this bit out, and then it should enable us to lift this bit up, which has a couple of clips on the bottom. One for the little light in here, which you can see for the ashtray, and then for the electric windows. These are just clipped on, they just pull off. So just remember which side is which, otherwise your passenger will be opening your window and vice versa. So it's black on the right and white on the left. Gotcha! And it also seems to have taken off the light for the cigarette lighter, but that's okay, we're not going to need that again actually, so I'm just going to tuck that down there. Now, when we've done that, we have revealed our first, I think it's a T20. Yes, so we're going to undo our T20 underneath here. One T20, we'll put that, we'll store all these things in our old ashtray. Now then, I've moved us back over here where we are going to take out the cup holder. We're going to remove this rubber mat in here, which fits perfectly, which is not very easy to remove, but there we are. And it reveals another I think that's a T25. So that is what I'm going to use. T20, yay! Off we go. Everything's going swimmingly so far, which is normally the cue for when things start going disastrously wrong. Another one. Now the next one is underneath this coin holder. And I have no idea how I'm going to remove that. Let's see how we're going to take that out. That looks as if it slides out through the top. You just ping out like that. Okay. Well, that works. And there is another, let's say T20. Underneath there, can you see it? It's at the end, there's not much light here, but can you see that there? Another one for the ashtray. In it goes. Alright. Now, as you can see, I've got my cameraman placed very cleverly here so we can remove this bit of section here, which keeps our, well, it keeps our cameraman has just slipped. Cameraman, come on. Keeps our handbrake cover looking a bit smarter, although in our case you could argue it probably doesn't, but there we are, that's that removed. And then, friends, having removed our friend Mr. Gear Shifter, we can now do this another T20 right here. And I am wondering if this is the last one. Let us see. Please don't fall down that gap. Please don't fall down that gap. Good, 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 good. Come on, for the ashtray. Now, is that starting to feel a bit takey offy, or are we not quite ready to takey offy yet? Aha, it is a bit takey offy. Let's see what we can do. Oh, okay. Come on, you can do this. It's quite long at the front here, so it may have to come backwards, which is all good. Is it connected by any wires? Is there a wire that's connecting me or holding me back? No. What is holding me back then? Apart from my own ignorance and stupidity. Oh, it just required a slight bit of persuasion. Aha, the gear brake. Gear brake? I don't think it's called a gear brake, is it? Hand brake is the thing that is confounding us, so we'll have to just slide it over a bit. There we are. Look at that. And look at that, you guys. Now we are really cooking with gas. 10 minutes into the job, we are half disassembled. 4 10mm bolts to take this out. I think, I'm not sure if this lifts off. Yes, it does. That just would make life a bit easier if you were to come off. And you do. Look at that, that makes life so much easier. See these bolts here? And there's 2 more over here as well. Oh, I've got my hand in the way. 1 here, 1 down there. Then I think we might be able to push these back. I think these push back and go off to the right like that. Back and off to the right like that. That was easy. Okay. This is going to plan, you people. Is that a 10? Could be a 10. Could be. And almost inevitably, it's an 11. Look, fits perfectly now. Now we're wrenching, you people. This is a wrenching channel, this is. People are going to watch me for my mechanical prowess. Alright, so just a little replay on what I did there. All I did was just push that spring back and then move it over to the right hand side, and it just sticks there, and that will enable me hopefully to pull these out. You see, and there it goes. Same on this side, push it back and to the right, and then we can take this off as well. There we are, it's done. And if I pull back, we should, with one hand, be able to pull that out. So that is loose. Something down here is not disconnected, so let's work on that. Now I think what happens here, and it's going to be difficult to do with one hand, is that we pinch this. If I can get my finger under there, maybe. Need two hands, but I think that's the idea. Let me see if I can get a better angle on it for you guys. Okay, we're going to use two hands. We're going to pinch these two things here in my left hand. Oh yeah, that just came out really easy. See, that's now loose, which means the second one's going to be an absolute nightmare, because that's just the way the world works. Aha! There it is. Get my cameraman, I'm going to have to give him a thrashing afterwards. It is out. Let's go and compare it with the new one. Okay, here are the two. Our slightly grimy old one and our new 997 one. And there is the part number in case you wanted to take a note of that. Now there's not a lot to see, but there is something fairly fundamental. Ignore this green element, that's just a tool for making sure we can get it into the right place. That comes off. But the bit that you notice most about this 997 thing is the use of metal here. Let me just get you a better shot of that. There's a metal plate there, a huge one. Whereas on this side, there isn't. And I think that's the main difference. There's still quite a lot of plastic used down here. That's got some play in it. Look, you can see the play in there. Obviously up here as well. And there's just lots of play everywhere. So I'm quite glad that we are swapping these two out. Pretty simple job so far. Okay, so the procedure for taking it out, one hopes, is the same as the one to take it out. Right, there is a little trick to it which I will show you. Let's just get that into place. That is in place, that is in place, that is in place. So the first job is to get those nuts back on. We'll do that. All right. Now let's put these honeys back. Oh yes, that is a solid click thunk. Oh, marvellous. Now then, this here, this green, let me see if I can take it off to show you. Maybe I can't. I have to because it does need to come off. There we are. This green tool here is the device which centres the gear stick so that we know. There we are. God, I thought I'd had a disaster then, but I haven't had a disaster. So that we know what tension to put these cables back on at. Because if we don't, we won't know which way it's supposed to go. So what this does is it goes around on the side of the gear stick like this, clicks on without breaking, thank you, and then it actually clips to the side. Now you're not careful, these things underneath get a bit stuck, so you need to be able to just wiggle this a bit, and this will come down and click nicely, nicely. Oh, that's got stuck again. Onto the frame. Hopefully. There, look at that. Clicked into place, won't move. Do you see how I've done that in my masterful master mechanic magician method? Now these should... Oh, I think what we do... That's it. And these just pull back into place. Put you back in. Just needed to extend that one out a bit. Sorry for the lack of commentating as I'm doing it, because you know I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm working it out. It's not very difficult. That goes in there like that. Which will just leave you there. And our friend Mr. Spring then can then come back. We'll just pop this back in. Oh, I love that thunk. Not happy with this one on the left. We're going to do that one again. Put that back. Lift this one out. You're watching it all happen live here, folks. We'll just pull this one out a bit so that it goes in. In it goes, it's slotting in nicely now. That's it. Did you see it click then? You got to make sure these two spring bits are covering the rest of this wire, otherwise they could pop out. So that just took a bit of finagling, but we got it in there, didn't we? Obviously, we was always going to. Okay, no worries. This is the protector for our protector, I don't know, a little bit of paneling for our electrical stuff, which we'll talk about again in a minute. That can pop on there like that. Now we should be able to take this off. That's that. That can now come off. Oh! 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 All right. Okay. Well, enough reveling. Let's get on. Now then, I am going to replace my tatty old cigarette ashtray thing, which is all horrible and doesn't really serve any purpose, with an open storage place, storage thing, whatever you want to call it. I've got a rubber mat that fits in here as well. So what I've been doing is just taking out these window switches, which actually just pull out. You need to use a pry tool as well, or a flathead screwdriver, because there are little clips that require a little bit of force. But that's all I'm doing here. Is I just think this will be a lot more useful to dump my mobile phone in or something, rather than trying to use something which is just not ideal. So I got this, by the way, from Pelican Parts. So it wasn't very expensive, I suppose, 40 or 50 bucks. But I think it'll add a little bit of extra storage for a cramped car. That came out. Of course, this would be the perfect opportunity if you wanted to replace switches. They're easily available as well. Mine are not too bad. That is clicked in and ready to go. And now I realise my error. Yes. Okay, we'll do that again. Okay, we have fixed our slightly embarrassing error. And now ready to fit this in the right way. Doesn't that look nice? Okay, let's do this properly. Now let's check this out. Oh, that's a bit shorter. Not much, but just nicely. Oh, it feels really firm. There's a little bit of wobble still, but not as much. It just feels tight again. It feels like you're driving a new car again. That's really nice. Well, I must say, this was one of the easier things to do to the Boxster. Probably took 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I suppose, to do it all, but it's just a simple question of bolt in, bolt out kind of thing. So we've not only improved the feel of the car, and when you change gears in it now, it is noticeably better, but we've improved the look of the car with this new ashtray replacement, which was really, bringing down the interior of the car. So very pleased here. Another one from the Reed Wonder Factory of Mechanics. I hope you enjoyed it. Stick with us, we've got a lot more coming. As I say, the hood will go on at the end of, soft top I should say, will go on at the end of July. I've got to replace the cowl at the front of the windscreen as well, and I've got to do the suspension. Yikes! So stick with me, subscribe, like if this is your bag, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.